The second semifinal of the 2023 GNAC Men's Basketball Championships, the number 1 seed St. Martin's with the 72-64 win over Central Washington. Joining us in the postgame press conference, head coach Aaron Landon, along with student athletes Kyle Greeley and Shakeem Alcindor. Coach, congratulations on advancing to the final. Just like every game in the GNAC, you might say, another hard-fought contest against Central Washington. Your thoughts and comments on the game?
Well, I thought that that game came down to sort of the toughness categories. It sounds cliche, but defense and rebounding. I thought these guys really carried us. They put pressure on the rim and they rebounded the ball. We gave up 39 points in the first half. Didn't do a good job. Just with a lot of our defensive principles, it was sort of widespread, and just credit the players. We didn't really adjust much. They just sort of found a way to connect to each other and what we were doing. So. Just really proud of our group. As you said, it's tough to win any game in the GNAC, and Central's a really tough team, well coached, and they do a lot of things that we admire with their kind of toughness on the interior and rebounding. So fortunate to come out with a win.
Kyle, you had a double-double, 23 points to lead St. Martin's, along with 10 rebounds. The second half seemed to be the key, coming out and being able to stop Central Washington's run that they had to end the first half. Talk about the adjustments that you made and what was talked about to have you guys come out and change the momentum in the second period.
Yeah, before the game, Coach Ty and Coach Landon told us the more aggressive team, the more intense team is going to win these postseason games. You can't come out just like a normal game, and you can't rely on just a scheme to get it done. So we give up 39 points in the first half, come in, and they're telling us to basically just regain that aggression, and we go out in the second half and hold them to 25 points and win the glass 44-28 throughout the whole game. So I think that was the biggest factor. And then we just got out and started running our lanes offensively, and that just opens up the floor, allows Shakeem to get some easy ones and other guys to get easy points in the paint as well. So I think that was the biggest adjustment.
Shakeem, you had 18 points. St. Martin's as a whole had 34 points in the paint in the game. And the second half is when you seem to really start getting open and starting to find your looks real close. Talk about your adjustments that you made to be able to get more open there in the second half.
So, just being on this team with all these great shooters, I just came in, be aggressive, and have these wonderful shooters. Have Hunter, have B, have Kyle. So it really opened it up for me to just be aggressive and make my move and get to the rim.
Coach, this is a tournament where at least the past couple of years it seems like the underdog has almost, or the lower seeded team has almost been the favorite, and you're watching Northwest Nazarene, the 6th seed, right before you guys pull another upset. Being the number 1 seed, how is that mentality for you approaching this game? What do you tell the guys to make it still feel like you're the underdog, even though everybody's got that target on your back?
I mean, it's not necessarily an underdog thing. We just know that we got to run toward the fight. These teams are so good. Everybody in the GNAC is tough, and everybody's got good players, and everybody's organized and well coached. And so, it probably sounds ridiculous to say, we see ourselves as an underdog. I wouldn't say that. But we see ourselves as a group that's going to have to fight real hard, and we're going to have to embrace the fight. So, that's what we talk about, and we have a ton of skill on the team. I told these guys in the locker room, we shoot the ball really well. I think we're up near the top of the nation in terms of made threes per game. It's been that way for the last couple of years. That's a credit to these guys and stuff that they worked on growing up, and that lets us just focus on defense and rebounding. Put a lot of pressure on these guys to do those things, and we've been on Kyle really hard these last few weeks, and so to see him answer the bell with 10 rebounds when it really, really matters, 3 on the offensive glass. This is a possession game still. We took care of the ball tonight without Skinny to only have 8 turnovers as a team. Just be able to not turn the ball over and hit the offensive glass. That creates a whole lot of wiggle room if the ball's not going in, and it didn't for us tonight. And so you look down our score sheet right now, And obviously, you know, Shakeem did a great job on the glass, as he usually does. His rebounds per minute are off the charts. Tyke did a great job, 3 offensive rebounds. Kyle, 3 offensive rebounds. Nate Stokes gets in 2 offensive rebounds, including the big putback. It's just, it's rebounding by committee. And so we just talk about the fight and how intense these teams are, and just lucky to have, you know, tough kids around us.
Kyle, your coach mentioned Skinny being out tonight. Obviously, a lot of you guys have to kind of take on a bigger role. You know, Tyke was out there playing point like near the end. You know, you had to kind of play some point guard. Brandon, of course, had to step up big. What does it say about this team that, you know, one of your first team guards is out in the first round or in your first playoff game here, and then you guys stepped up, and especially in that second half, rose to the occasion?
Yeah, I think it's kind of just that next man up mentality. Skinny does a ton for us, and not just pass, but his ball control, his pace is unlike any other point guard in the GNAC. So that was the first time without him this year, and we kind of approached it. Whoever gets a rebound, we're going to have to push tonight and look to get out and run, which we didn't really that first half, and we didn't get our lanes and our transition spots settled. And then in the second half, you know, if Shakeem wasn't getting the rebound, if one of us got the rebound, just push it up and try to put pressure on the rim. And yeah, we missed Skinny, but that next man up mentality, you know, we found a way to get a win.
And Shakeem, there was that 11-0 run in the second half, and you were a big part of that. And a lot of it was just like give it down to you on the low block and let you do work. And it was a lot of fun to watch. What was going through your mind when, you know, you guys are down close to 10 points? Next thing you know, you make a couple big plays, your team around you help, and then you're up and you guys regain control for the rest of the game.
I was thinking about all the practices we had. I was disadvantaged. So we have a lot of practice. Well, during practice, we usually like really down, and we just find a way, just be aggressive, get stops, the stop. Then you can go be aggressive in the paint, go get the next stop, keep going being aggressive. So that's all going through my mind.
Coach, you already talked about any given day nature of the GNAC, and you're going to face a finals opponent in Northwest Nazarene that's stepped up to the occasion when the timing's right. Your thoughts on the Nighthawks going into tomorrow's championship?
I mean, we know who they are and what they're good at. They're a great team. And down the stretch, I think, you know, most of the people watching this follow the GNAC. There was this cluster right at 4, 5, and 6, and it just comes down to the final night. So, you know, give me a break. They're not a 6 seed. The 4, 5, and 6. It came down to tiebreakers, log jam between those teams. What was the final? Help me with the Billing score tonight. Did they hold them to 40?
38
points. So Northwest Nazarene is incredible. They know who they are. They know. I say they're incredible because they're completely invested in defending, as you saw tonight in that Billings game, and offensive rebounding. And I believe that they're at the top of the GNAC in points per game allowed, and I know they're at the top of the GNAC in offensive rebounding. They have a really, really tough group. You know, defense is all about competing, and you know, they don't look for a magic trick offensively. They just compete hard, and so we know how tough that team is. Have a ton of respect for them. When we, you know, since we've come into the conference, they've been one of the perennial teams. They're about as tough as it gets. So they go head to head with Billings, and they hold Billings to 38. Billings has great players, you know, well coached, and that's who they are. So it's really not a 6 seed. It's really not a, you know, a Cinderella deal. This is a team that has experience in the postseason. I want to say they were competing in the Sweet 16 a couple years ago during that COVID year. A lot of those players are on this team. Gabe Murphy was on that team. Kobe Terashima, True Allen, those guys were on that team. So they know what it takes in the postseason. We have a ton of respect for them, and we've really just got to, you know, figure out and really kind of worry about ourselves how we're going to deal with them.
All right, that's St. Martin's head coach Aaron Landon, along with student athletes Kyle Greeley and Shakeem Alcindor. St. Martin's with the 72-64 win over Central Washington in the GNAC Men's Basketball Championship semifinals. Congrats, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Go Saints!